to do a bit of a Q&A since I am new to YouTube. I'm just hanging out here in the barn. I just finished riding Diesel and I have the barn door open and they're like poking in, so hopefully they don't try and push the door open on me while I'm doing this. So I asked for some questions on my Instagram about questions you guys would want me to answer in a Q&A. So I have a few questions here that I pulled. Who is your favorite professional reiner? So I guess there's the obvious answers like Andrea Fapani, Casey Deary. I guess those are probably the big two. I think they're all pretty cool guys. I watch Matt Mills' YouTube videos. I think he's pretty cool. I mean, obviously I haven't met any of these people. I went to JP Forget's reining clinic. He's a professional reiner here in Alberta, and I really enjoyed the clinic with him. Yeah, and I get that you have to say Andrea Fapani, right? Like, he's a legend in the sport, a living legend. I also really like Al Dunning. I like just that old school, like back in the day reiner. I think he's really cool. I have his book that's been really helpful. So I'm still fairly new to the sport, so still learning some names, but those are just some that come to mind. My memory card on my camera is full, so we are just going to continue this Q&A on the run while I finish up some stuff here around the barn and head home. So the next question was, what kind of sport boots do I use for my horses? So for the majority of my rides, if you watch any of my riding videos and clips, I usually just have bell boots on my horses. I don't have full-blown leg stuff on. If I know I'm gonna have a really intense ride, or I'm doing something where there's a lot of crossing over of his legs and really hard lateral movements, then I will put additional stuff on. But for most day-to-day riding, it's just gonna be the bell boots. So I'll show you here what I use. So I have them all hanging up here. So these are just the bell boots. So they just go around the bottom of the horse's foot. That's what I use every single day. If I'm doing more intense stuff, these are the Classic Equine Legacy 2s. I love these boots. I never had any when I was just riding junior, but when I got Diesel, I needed to buy new boots because he's way smaller, and I was like, I am buying Legacy 2s, so I got those. Another favorite, these are really old. They're Classic Equine as well, and they're just a splint boot, so they don't cover the full leg. It's just the splint of the horse's leg. So on some of these really hot days, if I do want a bit more, these are good too, because they're just not covering as much of the body of the horse. So that's an option as well. So I don't have anything on the back legs. I think probably once I start sliding really hard, I'll start wearing some sort of skid boot or something like that on the back. But for right now, Diesel is always bare on the back. So definitely recommend anything in Classic Equine's line of leg protection. I do not use polo wraps. I know how to put polo wraps on properly, but I still have this fear that they are just going to come undone at the worst possible time ever, and it's just going to be a wreck. So I do not use polo boots for my probably unwarranted fear of them coming undone. So I use sport boots. Lots of Velcro. They're not going anywhere. I got my first horse when I was 10 years old, so I didn't ride a whole lot when I was 10. Definitely not as much as I ride now, but that's just when it started. I joined 4-H and started getting riding lessons probably when I was 14. So I took regular riding lessons then and have just been riding as often as I can ever since. So 20 years at this point I've been riding. So my first horse was a mare, Brandy, and she was very difficult to deal with. And I had another mare after that I did not get along with at all. And there has yet to be a gelding that I haven't gotten along with. So that is why we do not have mares. At some point I'm willing to have someone change my mind about mares, but just for just ease of dealing with horses, I'd rather just deal with geldings. They're much more manageable in my opinion. So that is why I have 2 geldings. And I'm really excited to answer that question because I'm just really excited about my plans with Diesel. So the plan right now is just to continue working on getting him finished as a reiner, and then next year I want to compete at the reigning Alberta classic shows. So they have a spring classic, summer classic, fall classic. My goal is to compete at the fall classic. I don't want to push for the spring classic just because I know my work schedule and everything like that coming into the spring. So I've put a goal of compete at the fall classic, which is really exciting and just something I'm really motivated to work towards. So that is the plan right now. Before I answer this question, I just want to acknowledge the view on my way to and from the barn. It's just, I never get sick and tired of looking at it. So asking me who my favorite horse is kind of like asking someone, I imagine, who their favorite child is. They're different and you just love them with all your heart. So Junior obviously is the OG. He was my first really good horse. We did so many things together, been through so much. He's gotten me through some really hard times. He's taught me a lot about riding a good horse and just so much. We've been through so much. And Diesel is just new and exciting. He's young, he's full of spunk and just so full of potential. And he's also a bit more personable than Junior, which I love. Like, I love Junior's I don't care, like, I don't need attention attitude, but I also love Diesel's more personable personality. So they definitely both hold a very special place in my heart, and I can't pick which one I like better. So my riding education started in 4-H, which you go to riding practices and you get lessons, and they also had clinics and stuff like that. So I learned a lot in 4-H, which if you're a young kid and you're within 4-H years and you have a horse, join 4-H. Best thing you will ever do. And then I started taking private riding lessons. I think I was around 14 when I started doing that. She would come to our farm and give me riding lessons, and I learned a lot from her. And then as I got into barrel racing, I did take private lessons from various barrel racers. Went to a Molly Powell clinic, a Dee Butterfield clinic. So just picked up stuff from various people. And I also started learning a lot from just books and YouTube channels and stuff like that. And I've definitely been learning a lot since then through YouTube and books and stuff like that. And now with my reining, still doing that, but now I'm also going to be starting to take private lessons again to just help further my education, especially now that I'm in a new sport. So that's kind of where I learned to ride, kind of picking it up here and there. There's also something to be said from just figuring it out on your own, like getting in the saddle and putting hours in. There's definitely something to be said for that as well. So the dogs get really excited when I come home because they know it means supper time. And Molly, she gets so excited. Hi, Molly. Do you want some supper? Oh, goodness. Do you want some supper? Where's your toy? Where's your toy, Sadie? I think I'm going to wrap it up there for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more questions that you'd like answered, please be sure to send them to me on Instagram at Strong in the Saddle. Be sure to give me a follow there. Be sure to check out the podcast, Strong in the Saddle. And until next time, remember, it's always a good day to ride.